Welcome to the Personification Workflow video. Workflows are unique for specific types of analysis and include a collection of tools that have been packaged together and designed to guide users through an entire analysis. The workflows are created to provide guidance for specific analysis. However, you can pick and choose the tools most relevant to your analytical needs. The Personification Workflow answers the question, how do I find, reach, and communicate with my target groups? Using the tools within the Personification Workflow allows you to describe and image your target groups using demographic, psychographic, and media, behavior, and lifestyle databases. Let's begin our tour. We'll launch the tool from the home page. The first step in the workflow is to add a project name. Our example today is to personify target groups selected for a segmentation of current and potential customers that we'd like to invite to a wine and cheese gala in the city of Ottawa. Previously, we ran profiles of our customer database, profiles of some variables like drinking red wine and attending wine and cheese shows to determine the key target segments that we need to create for our target groups. The next step is to create the target groups using the target set builder. I will create a new target set and call it my wine and cheese target. And I will now be able to create target groups saved within this target set. I will select the target set and click on Edit Groups. This is the target set builder. As you can see, we are provided with a list of the 68 Prism 5 segments down the middle of the screen. Within the Segment List tab, I'm able to select a reference profile in order to select my target groups. I will select my sample customer profile to view within the screen. We have the Prism 5 bar chart to use as a guide when we're creating our target groups. First step is to add a target group. I can name the target group. As this example is for our Urban Elite group. And I will click and drag the segments that I need in order to create that group. Our previous analysis determined that segments 1, 2, and 8 that make up our Urban Elite target group would be key for this project. As you can see, the bars within my bar chart are also colored the same color as my target group. I have my 3 clusters colored in purple for my Urban Elite target group. The donut chart also provides me with a count of the customers that are made up in my target group. Almost 19% of my customer list is made up of segments 1, 2, and 8. I also want to create a second group. This group will be entitled My Wealthy Suburban Nights. And this group is made up of segments 4 and 6. As you can see, there's interactivity on the screen. These segments on my bar chart are being selected, and my donut chart is also populating with the counts of customers within my target groups. There's a third group that I'd like to create. This group is called my Wealthy Diverse group. And it is made up of segments 13, 27, and 28. It is a smaller group of the three, but is still worthwhile as being segments selected for this specific objective. Once I'm happy with these selections I've made, I need to save my target group. I use the blue check mark at the top of the page to save my target group. You will receive a notification that your target group was saved and you can leave the editor. We now have visual representation of the target set and the groups that make up the target set. Using the segment list and the reference profile is only one way that I can create a target group or target groups within the target set builder. I'd like to explore more opportunities within the target set builder. For this, I will return to the Envision homepage and show you different ways that I can create target sets. I will create a new target set. And create the groups within that target set. Another important way to create target groups would be to use the scorecard method. Because I've already ran reference profiles for my scorecard, I can populate the scorecard within the target set builder. I will select the scorecard profiles. My first profile will be my customer file. I will select the sample customers. You can see the table being populated behind the screen. I will also select some of the variable profiles that I created, specifically my Pinot Noir red wine profile, which gets added to the scorecard, as well as the variable profile of wine and cheese shows and exhibitions. My scorecard is now populated. The segments are ranked in numeric order, and I have the profiles listed across the top. This scorecard can be exported as an HTML file. Use the camera button at the top of the bar to export this as an HTML file. The HTML file can be opened in Excel so that you can do your own sorting and conditional formatting. I can also select target clusters directly from the scorecard. I first have to return to the Segment List tab and create my first target group. It is selected because I have the blue box around it. When I return to my scorecard tab, I can now select the segments that I'd like to include within Group 1. You can see my segments have been colored the purple color. When I again return to the segment list, I will see those segments selected within my group. I can edit the group and give it a name. I can also add a second group. Return back to my scorecard and select the segments that I want in Group 2. You can see here on the menu bar, I am now editing Group 2. Group 2 is made up of Segment 4 and Segment 6, as is reflected on the Segment List tab. I will rename this to my Wealthy Suburbanites. And I will add a third group. Return to my scorecard tab and select the segments that are in Group 3. I am now editing Group 3. The scorecard allows me to see multiple profiles side by side, and going across segment by segment, I can select the segments based on the index values and percent compositions that I see within the scorecard. I'm just going to return to the segment list and now see that I have my 3 target groups created for this target set. I'll just rename target group 3. When I'm happy with the target groups that I've created, I have to be sure to save my target groups by clicking on the blue check mark. I receive notification that I can leave the editor. And again, my target set is made up of these 3 different target groups. Now that I've created my target groups, I can return to my workflow and see the other tools that are included within the personification workflow. In order to run the reports, dashboards, and maps within the personification workflow, I need to create a benchmark. We will select the Create Area Standard Geography List tool to create our benchmark. As you can remember, our example is within the City of Ottawa. I will type Ottawa within my search window and select the census subdivision of Ottawa, the City of Ottawa, as my benchmark. I save my selection and I continue to step 3 of the personification workflow. There are a number of reports that I would like to run in order to learn more about my target groups. I'd like to start with the Highlights Demo Stats Target Group report. This will allow me to understand the demographics of my target group. I will select my benchmark of Ottawa and select my wine and cheese target. The Highlights Demo Stats Target Group report will be ready once I receive notification. While that's running, I'll also run a Ranking Variables for a Target Group. The Ranking Variables for a Target Group dashboard will provide me with a rank of variables, whether they're demographic variables or survey variables, based on the profile of the target group. Let's launch this tool. I will select my target set, my wine and cheese target. I will select my benchmark of Ottawa. And I would like to understand the media behaviors of my target set. I will select the Optics PMB database and select the categories corresponding to the media behaviors. I will select all media categories. There is a limit to the number of categories that can be displayed within one visualization. I'd like to run another Ranking Variables target group. I will again select my target group, select my benchmark, and select Optics PMB dataset, but this time I would like to select the Sports and Leisure category. I have received a few notifications that some dashboards have been completed. Let's return to the top of our workflow and select the results view of my workflow. Let's take a look at the Demo Stats highlights for the target group dashboard. This is the Highlights Demo Stats Target Group report. It provides us with a map of the area of interest we selected, in this case, the City of Ottawa. And it also provides us with demographic variables from our Demo Stats 2015 database. We can see here some base variables, total households and total population, some age of household maintainer variables, size of household, household type, marital status, and age of children. As an example, I will show you how we would read this report. Right now, we are reporting on the urban elite target group. When we want to describe our target group, we will use the percent composition column within the DemoStats target group highlight report. The largest percent composition in the age of household maintainers is the 55 to 64-year-olds, as well as the 45 to 54-year-olds. So we would describe this urban elite group as middle-aged to older age of household maintainers. When we would like to compare the target group to the benchmark, we would use the index value to see how similar or different, or how over-indexed or under-indexed this variable is. As I mentioned earlier, the 55 to 64-year-old age of household maintainer cohort has the highest percentage for this urban elite target group. And when compared to the city of Ottawa, it has an index of 127. The DemoStats Highlights report also provides you with, on the left-hand side, information about housing tenure, housing type, and age of housing. And further down the report, information on education, occupation, commuting, and also the average household income for the target group. This target group has an above average household income when compared to the city of Ottawa. The average household income for urban elite is $161,000. When compared to the city of Ottawa, it's 46% above average. I'm just going to scroll back up to the middle of the report here to show you the categories of data that are shown on the right-hand side of the report. We have ethnocultural, immigration, and language variables that we report on in this report. The Highlights DemoStats Target Group report is a great way to understand and describe your target groups demographically. If you remember, when we selected the parameters for this report, we selected the target set. This report currently is reporting on one target group within our target set. This is called the Urban Elite Target Group. If we'd like to slice our data, we would use the arrow to expand our hidden menu, and we would select the Slice option. We can choose the slice and change the target group. Our report is now providing values for our wealthy, diverse target group compared to the city of Ottawa. The same variables are listed, however, the values have changed based on the target group that we selected. And we can also change the slice to our third target group, which is called our wealthy suburbanites. We also have some ranking reports that we'd like to look at. The first ranking report that I will open is the Media Highlights. The ranking report lists all of the variables within the categories that I selected when creating the dashboard. It provides me with a count of the number of people within my target group who are more likely to do this type of behavior and compares it to the benchmark. I can look at the percent composition to determine if I have a high concentration of my target group more likely to do this behavior, and I would look at the index value to determine if it's above average or below average when compared to the Ottawa market. Again, this report can be sliced based on the target group. The dashboards are very interactive, and we can change the view of the visualization by using the slice feature. The last ranking was also from the PMB Optics database, and we're showing sports and leisure activities to get a sense of what our target groups are most likely to enjoy doing in their spare time. I'd like to return to my personification workflow, so instead of being in the results view, I will return to the workflow view. I've created some reports to describe my target groups. Let's first run a ranking report of areas for my target groups. The ranking areas for a target group. I would like to see within the City of Ottawa which forward sortation areas have the highest concentration of my target group. Now that the dashboard is ready, I will view the dashboard. The Ranking Areas Target Group report is reporting first on my Urban Elite target group. The report is sorted on the code name of the geographic level I selected. I would like to sort the report on the count column to see which forward sortation areas, or FSAs, have the highest concentration of my target group. I will select Count, descending, we can see that the FSA K2A has the highest concentration of my target group, Urban Elite. Let's see how that changes if we slice the data based on the target group. Let's look at the Wealthy Diverse. The Wealthy Diverse is predominantly found in FSA K2J and K2C. We can see that different FSAs come to the top in our ranking when looking at the Wealthy Diverse target group. Similarly, when we change the target group slice to the Wealthy Suburbanites, we can again see a different set of FSAs that rank high for the occurrence of that target group. We can return to the workflow view and create a map of our segments. The map loads an enormous amount of data when we're mapping segments. We do need to wait for the wheel to stop spinning before we make our selections. I'm going to select the Ottawa area as our area of interest. My map will zoom to my area of interest. And I'm also going to zoom into an area in order to see some detail. The PRISM 5 segmentation system is coded at the postal code level. I can map my segments at the postal code level to see where the occurrence is. This is a map of all segments found within the area of study. I can also map only my target sets. I select my wine and cheese target and click on Continue and create the map. The postal codes are now color-coded based on my target groups. The Urban Elite in the dark purple the wealthy suburbanites in the yellow, and the wealthy diverse in the red. As you can see, this view does not show me any of the wealthy diverse. I will zoom out to be able to get a better view of where all of my target segments are found. The target set map shows us the details right down to the postal code level. In my advanced options, I can select to overlay an area. We can overlay the FSA boundaries and add the overlay. So we can see the FSA boundaries with respect to where our target segments are found. Once I'm happy with the view of my map, I can select the printing options to print this map to PDF. I will change the title. Change the layout of my map, and I can print the map to PDF. I will return to the results view of my personification workflow, and I can view the PDF of the map just created. This map is now ready for printing. This concludes the video for the personification workflow. As a review, we were able to create a target set by using the segment list and clicking and dragging the segments into our groups. We also looked at creating the target groups by using the scorecard and picking and choosing our segments based on the scorecard values. We also ran reports that detailed the demographic profile of our target groups, and ranking reports in order to understand the media behaviors and the sports and leisure habits of our target groups. We were also able to create a dashboard of ranking areas based on the target group presence, and we were able to map our segments. We hope you enjoyed this video on the personification workflow. If you have any questions, please direct them to the email address on the screen, envisionsupport@environicsanalytics.ca. Thanks for watching.